You're listening to the Cyberwire Network, powered by N2K.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Hacking Humans podcast, where each week we look behind the social engineering scams, phishing schemes, and criminal exploits that are making headlines and taking a heavy toll on organizations around the world. I'm Dave Bittner, and joining me is Joe Kerrigan. Hey, Joe.
Hi, Dave.
And our N2K colleague and host of the T-Minus Space Cyber Briefing, Maria Vermazis. Maria.
Hi, Dave, and hi, Joe.
We've got some good stories to share this week. But first, a little follow-up here, and I suppose it's not so much follow-up as it is tooting our own horn.
Beep, 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 beep.
Today, yes, fanfare, please. It is our 400th episode.
Amazing.
Yes. 400 episodes. So we started way back May 31st, 2018. Just me and Joe.
We've been doing this for 8 years, Dave.
Yeah, 8
Good
years.
heavens.
And that
That's
makes
staying
sense.
power for a podcast.
That
That's
is.
pretty good. Yeah, about 50 shows a year. And the title of the show was "Social Engineering Works Because We're Human," and we say that still today.
Yes, we do.
So Maria's first episode was number 273.
That's right. That was we did a pilot of that. To like test Maria to see what the audience reaction would be.
Uh-huh.
And everybody was like, that is so much better.
That's true.
That's really sweet.
True. Yeah, that's true. It's pretty much universal. Like,
Right, yeah.
Less Dave and Joe,
More
the better.
Yeah, right.
I don't think it was less of you two. I think it just, I don't know, something, me being in there enhances you both somehow. I don't know.
Yeah, you add a lot to the show.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you for
Absolutely
joining us.
true.
Well, my pleasure.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me. It's been a joy.
So here's to 400 more.
Yes.
Yes,
I made
indeed.
a mistake when I started numbering these scripts. I started it with 2 zeros, so we can only go up to 999 episodes.
Oh, wow. They want to hand out like Y2K stickers when we get up
Right.
in the 900s or something.
Yeah.
God.
Something bad will happen.
Or I'm going to have to go back and renumber all the other episodes, start with 3 zeros, 3 leading numbers. Or I can just rely on...
Or you could take your meds.
Right. Yeah. I am probably not doing that. Probably. I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
Don't you have better things that are like chicken related to do with your time?
Yes.
Oh,
like-
yeah, that's true. I've been away for a couple weeks. How are things going on the chicken front, Joe?
Well, we have... the rooster is no longer with us.
Oh,
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
Okay.
Couldn't have a rooster around that was going to attack children. We went on a little vacation, short vacation, and we had the neighbor kids watching him, so we had to dispatch him before that. We did not wind up cooking him because once we plucked him, it was obvious that this was going to be such a small bird. Although this guy was enormous in life. I mean, I thought he was going to be much bigger than he was, but he wasn't.
it was all
Very
feather and
disappointing.
fluff.
It was all feathers, no muscle, no meat.
Yeah. What? No. Yeah.
Story of my life. Story of my life.
I was going to say it describes a few people I knew, but then you went and said it, Dave, and then...
Thank you. Thank you. Please tip your waiters. Try the veal.
I am still working on the run for the coop.
Yeah.
I've gotten all the walls built, and last night I cut the joists for the roof. And the hardware cloth should arrive today, hopefully. So I can be able to staple the hardware cloth to the walls and put the roof together, and then drill the roofing material on, and hopefully over the weekend get this thing assembled, and then begin disassembling the eyesore that is the the run that I designed and built.
Like Homer Simpson's car.
Right? Yeah.
Well,
I think I mentioned this before, but my wife said, if you were to ask a 4-year-old how to draw a house, it would look like that.
Yeah.
Right?
Wow.
And I was like, that is a valid
Thank you, dear.
criticism. I mean, I don't know what I was thinking. There's absolutely no eaves on this thing. There's no awnings or anything, or no eaves. So it's got the center of the coop is protected, or the run is protected, but this new run that is actually from third Coast Craftsman, I believe. It's a very popular chicken run. It's Third Coast something. If you look it up on YouTube, you'll see it.
All right.
You can buy the plans, and I paid the guy $30 for the plans. And
do you have a target date in mind for when you want to have the chicken run completed?
Well, actually, I need to get that done probably this weekend. Because classes, last week I know I said classes begin next week, but they actually did not. That would be this week, but they do begin for me next week.
Classes you're taking?
Classes I'm taking, yes.
Okay.
2 of them. Trying to cram that into my life, which is great.
You looking for another master's degree, or are you getting another cert?
No, a master's in data science.
Oh, congratulations. Yeah. All right, good for you.
Yep.
All right, well, it is good to be back, and even better on our 400th episode. I tell you what, let's take a quick break here, and we will be right back with our stories. And now, a word from our sponsor, ThreatLocker. AI coding agents are writing code and reaching outside systems, often without human approval. OWASP calls that risk excessive agency. ThreatLocker helps fix it, giving every AI agent only the access it needs, controlling what it can run, touch, and reach on your network. ThreatLocker offers ready-to-deploy policies for popular agentic AI tools. Learn more during our next break. All right, we are back, and since I have been away for a couple weeks, I'm going to do the honors and lead things off for us this week.
Seems fair.
My cautionary tale this week comes from Hollywood, where scammers are impersonating famous podcast hosts. That hits a little close to home, to target potential guests. So 2 people are highlighted in this story. This is actually a story that comes from the Hollywood Reporter. And so Broadway performer and Sirius XM host, I said host because his name is Seth. Host, Seth Rudetsky. Do I have that? Anybody know who this guy is? I'm not familiar with him.
No,
I am not a Hollywood knowing type person, so no.
Well, apologies to Seth if I mispronounced your last name. But he got an invitation to appear on Nikki Glazer's podcast. Now, Nikki Glazer, I do know who she is. She's a very popular comedian, known for, she's done a lot of those roasts that they do. She's very funny. And nothing about it seems suspicious. He gets podcast requests all the time. This one offered to pay him between $4,000 and $5,000 for the appearance. That would make me suspicious. Nobody's ever offered me that kind of money.
Being paid to be on a podcast. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're on a big podcast, maybe.
Maybe.
For one episode? I don't know how that works. And when you have, because it would be interesting.
I don't know. It seems to me like most of the big podcasts, people go on to promote things.
Right.
So I don't think there's any expectation that they're going to make any big money. But what do I know? That's a part of the podcasting world that I know nothing about.
That's a totally different ecosystem. Yeah.
But what really lured him in was how personal the invitation felt. It referenced his Broadway cruise that he'd done and some previous work. And in this article, he says he remembers thinking, oh, they totally know my work. But only later he realized that the details weren't proof of any legitimacy. They were just part of the scam.
Mm-hmm.
So he accepted the invitation. He was introduced to Nikki Glazer's manager, which I'm putting in air quotes,
right,
who wanted to do a technical setup over Zoom. There were warning signs. The manager kept his camera off and claimed to be in Pakistan, despite having a British accent. And also, Rudetsky said that he was using an oddly generic Gmail address.
Okay.
Eventually, the fake manager started walking him through some Facebook permissions, trying to gain administrative control of his page.
Oh.
And Rudetsky realized something was wrong, and all of a sudden he could no longer log into Facebook.
Oh, the guy actually got control.
I guess so.
Wow, okay.
He said he searched online for podcast scam celebrity Facebook and immediately found reports describing almost exactly what had happened to him.
Really?
Yeah. So the second story here is about Bruce Vilanch. Any you guys, you know who Bruce Vilanch is?
I sure do. Usually as a his name has often been sort of a punchline, not in a bad way, but just sort of a guy whose name you know, but you don't know why you know it. It's Bruce Valanche.
He's kind of that guy.
Yeah.
You recognize him if you see him.
Right.
Oh,
He's
definitely.
probably best known. He filled in the center square on Hollywood Squares after Whoopi Goldberg finished. He was a writer on that show, and he was one of the other squares. And then Whoopi moved on, and he moved into the center square. He's a big-time writer in Hollywood. He writes the Oscars, I believe, every year, and also famously known for having written the Star Wars Holiday Special.
Oh,
so we can
don't
blame.
think he wants to claim that one.
No, we can blame him for that. So he's a name in Hollywood, certainly well known and respected. But the scheme they came at him with was a requested interview to be interviewed by Terry Gross from NPR's Fresh Air.
Mm-hmm.
And Bruce says that the emails didn't just look convincing, they captured what he thought was Gross's distinctive voice and interview style. He said it was so articulate and so like her. The fake Terry Gross discussed topics she supposedly wanted to cover and demonstrated what appeared to be deep knowledge of Valanche's career. And he thought to himself, well, this must really be Terry. Eventually, the scammers asked for some money.
Right?
Claiming that NPR needed support because of government funding cuts. And he found that request unusual, but he said by then the relationship had built up enough trust that he sent the money.
You can't escape the NPR pledge stuff, even in an email with Terry Gross.
Right.
They find you, no matter where you are. Got it.
Did they send him a tote bag? But here's what's interesting. Even after they got his money, they kept preparing him for the interview. They sent him additional questions. They scheduled a recording session, and they even went on a video call. And when Bruce logged in, he was looking at some, video conference windows, and there was a man in there who introduced himself, and he said, "Hi, this is Mike. I'll be conducting the interview." And Bruce said, "No, you won't. I'm talking to Terry, or I'm talking to nobody."
Good for you, Bruce.
Good for Bruce.
Yeah. Be a diva.
He knows his value.
Yeah.
That's right. So eventually he contacted WHYY, which is the station that produces Fresh Air.
Fresh Air.
And they were aware of multiple attempts at this impersonation. So this was a scam that was making the rounds.
Wow.
So both of these guys who got fooled, they said it wasn't so much that they ignored obvious warnings, although in retrospect, I think we all can see some obvious warnings. But they said they were fooled because the scammers made them feel recognized. They made them feel important. They made them feel like they were going to be a special guest. So kind of stroked their egos.
Yeah.
I don't know why I'm like this, but maybe it's just because I hate myself. But for some reason,
Happy episode 400, everybody.
That always puts me off when somebody starts stroking my ego.
Really, Joe? A guy as handsome as you?
The first time I've ever heard that sentence.
Instant suspicion. I mean,
right.
I imagine.
What do you want?
Right.
Yeah, these folks being in Hollywood, they're used to people being obsequious, right?
That
or
is
at least
an excellent point.
Around each other, if not in their direction.
Right.
But I mean, the work that I'm presuming the AI did, because AI has not been directly mentioned, but this must have been AI scraping the internet for everything that these folks have done and just composing a very compelling email. I mean, that's the work that usually a producer does. And that does take normally a lot of time and a lot of effort and a lot of thought.
Right.
But if an AI model is just circumventing all that, then you can sort of, in your own mind, you're going, oh, someone spent a lot of time putting this information together about me. That makes me feel like I'm worth it. Except, the AI did it in 2 seconds.
Right. So especially if you're a public-facing person like both of these gentlemen were, it's really easy to come up with a biography and write up that convincing, ego-stroking letter to make it feel like they're interested in you and only you, and they've put the time in to learn all about you. The story kind of wraps up. They put a button on this. Rudetsky received another invitation, this time from Amy Poehler's podcast, which is another very popular show these days.
Great show. Yep.
But he happens to be friends with Amy Poehler, so he called her up and said, "Did you invite me on your podcast?" And she said, "No, I did not."
And I never would. Stop calling me.
Right, exactly. How did you get this number? So I think some good lessons to learn here. Maybe the primary one is what we kind of mentioned, which is that you can no longer trust just because someone knows a lot about you that it's actually a personal invitation or interaction, because anybody can do that now quickly.
Yeah.
Anything else stand out here to either of you?
Well, I'm not famous, so I think the ego stroking, I don't think it's just Hollywood people that are vulnerable to that.
No.
Yeah, but I could see Maria's point that they're probably used to that kind of treatment from people. I think that works on a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
Not necessarily me, as I've said, but me, I immediately get suspicious. But
yeah. No, that's interesting. It is kind of part of Hollywood lingo, isn't it? That sort of, love you, mean it, right?
Right.
That's the joke out there. Yeah.
Right, but the real affection is in time, right? If someone actually takes the time to get to know you and your work, then it's like, oh, maybe that's beyond just, the one thing they know me for. That feels more real.
Yeah.
I know that, again, also not famous, Joe. I am also not famous, but every once in a while I do get an email from a PR person or something where it's clear they've used AI to sort of scrape the internet for stuff about me. And the very first time I got an email like that, I was genuinely like, wow, they did their research on me. And then I figured it out. But now that doesn't work on me. But the first time, I was genuinely floored that someone had found all that stuff about me and put it together in a really compelling pitch. And I said, wow, all right. Made me take notice.
All right. Well, we will have a link to that story in the show notes. Maria, tell you what, why don't you share with us next? What do you have for us this week?
Well, I'm doing a Joe, and I actually have two stories, but
okay.
But the first one is quick, as Joe would say.
I also have two.
Oh, no. We're both pulling a Joe. My first story is I actually just a link that I want people to read because I don't want to go through the whole thing. It's a bit of a continuation of the story that we've been talking about a lot, which is the human trafficking, the slavery going on at the scam compounds in Southeast Asia. There's a story in The Guardian where they are interviewing people who have managed to flee from these scam compounds. But in many cases, because their passports were confiscated when they were trafficked, they can't leave the countries that they were enslaved within. In many cases, they are homeless, and they are starting to rack up overstay fees by the country that they are stuck in, which is then compelling many of them to actually willingly go back into slavery at the scam compounds. It is a horrible, horrible situation. So it's basically from bad to worse. There's not an angle about social engineering for us to cover for the show, but it's a very important human angle, and I know a lot of us are invested in understanding how to make things better, and I think this is an important thing for people to know. So I just wanted to mention that. Link will be in the show notes for people to read that story in The Guardian. Okay, so for my actual social engineering story, this one is a story out of San Francisco, and it's gotten a lot of press in the San Francisco media ecosystem in both the SF Cron and KQED. And this is about a gentleman who, Alvin Tran, who was scammed out of $18,000 in a fake rental listing scam. And the thing that caught my attention about this story is Tran himself says he's a pretty savvy guy. And he feels like most people in his situation would have fallen for the same scam that he fell for. So that's part of why he's publicizing what he experienced. And I got to tell you, when I was reading through the timeline of events of what he experienced, I was pretty sure that honestly it would have gotten me too. Because the red flags were so minor that they were very, very easy to miss. And I honestly, this is a tough one. And part of the reason this story feels very timely for me is it is rental turnover season for a lot of us right now who live in college towns. So there's a lot of people coming and going right now in the Boston area for sure. But I also recently did an appearance for Yale University, and I think the number one question a lot of the students and student supporters had was about rental scams. So this is huge, I think, for young people especially. And so I just wanted to cover this one. This is a tough one. So let me go through the sequence of events. Like many people, Alvin Tran got a nasty gram from his current landlord saying, hey, your rent's going up by 20%. So that was the thing that said, you know what, I need to find a new place to live.
Sounds like the Bay Area.
Yeah, it truly does. So he does what many of us would do in a situation. He went on the internet and searched Zillow, because Zillow does rentals, and also Craigslist, which is what I would have used back in the day when I was looking for rentals. And he was looking specifically for a 2-bedroom rental because he had a roommate that he was going to share with. He then found a great apartment that checked all his boxes on Zillow. And he sent an inquiry to the landlord, but got no response. Weird, but okay, it happens. Later that day, he continues his search, and he found that same apartment listed on Craigslist. And then he contacted the person who posted it on Craigslist. Sounds great. The next day, Alvin Tran receives an email from someone identifying himself as James Dunlap. And James tells him that there have been over 70 inquiries for this listing, not unusual for a hot listing in a hot real estate market. And he invited him to view the apartment in person at 11:30 that day. And the email to Alvin was signed with the name Jim, which is a common shortening of James. That's not unusual. So on 11:30 that day, Alvin tours the apartment, and he meets a man at the apartment introducing himself as Jim. And several other prospective renters are also at the apartment viewing this wonderful unit, and many of them are signing applications on the spot. So it all seems above board. There's an actual property. The person with the same name as the guy that introduced himself by emails there seems above board. Understandably, hot real estate market, and also the neighborhood that Alvin's looking at is like a super hot neighborhood within San Francisco specifically. So it's competitive. So Alvin submitted an application to the Gmail address provided by the supposed landlord. 2 days later, Alvin receives notice that his application has been approved. Hooray. And over email, he receives a lease agreement. That seems about normal. That's how I received a lease agreement many years ago, so I would expect similar. He also received instructions to wire $6,200 security deposit plus 2 months rent. So 2 months, first and last rent plus a deposit, not unusual. It is a lot of money. But in a hot real estate market like San Francisco or New York or Boston, like, that's pretty standard. And it's, in this case, around $18,600. A lot of money. But yep, he was told to wire that to the landlord. The funds were to be sent to an account called something international, that doesn't really matter. And the email was signed by James Basuino Dunlap. Okay. Not quite the same name, but just about. Like, the middle name wasn't there.
Yeah, it sounds like the addition of a middle name.
Yeah, sounds like just the addition of a middle name. The last name is still the same.
That would not raise a red flag for me at all.
No. In the following days, he continues messaging the person that he believes is the landlord that he wired money to about move-in logistics, setting up the Wi-Fi, and key pickup. And he's getting responses to all these messages. So it all seems very above board. Move-in day arrives. He goes to the property to meet the landlord and collect the keys. The problem is nobody shows up. And he calls and texts the person that he's supposed to be meeting with, and all those go unanswered. And he thinks to himself, okay, emergencies happen. Maybe somebody died. Stuff can happen. So he's giving this person a lot of grace. So he waits until the next morning to figure out what's going on. He sends a message to the original Zillow listing, trying to figure out, was anyone going to answer his phone calls? Was anyone going to answer his texts? Shortly afterwards, he manages to get a message from the actual landlord, whose name is Jim Basuino. Just Jim Basuino. There is no Dunlap at the end of it.
Really?
Mm-hmm. And that Jim responds and speaks with Alvin Tran. And Alvin learns that Basuino, who is indeed the legitimate landlord of this unit, never posted it on Craigslist. Basuino was also not the person emailing or texting Alvin. That apartment had already been rented to someone else, and the legitimate landlord did not receive the $18,600 wire transfer. So at that point, Alvin realizes that he had indeed been the victim of a rental scam. So this is not in judgment. And again, Alvin's been amazing going public with his story, and it's been all over the news locally. So kudos to him. No judgment, just data gathering here. I'm wondering, as I was recounting this to you, what were the possible very quiet red flags that came up for you? Because they were very quiet. It took me some time to even find them.
One is that it's on Craigslist.
That's you as an auto red flag?
Yeah.
Okay,
I think
fair.
everything on Craigslist is a scam. It's like every time I see a car on there, it's priced way too low. And I'm like, what happens if I reach out to this person? And I just think it's like, oh yeah, I got the car boxed up and I'll have it dropped off at your house. I just need a $400 deposit. And, like they do with the campers and things like that. I have bought, I think, a total of 2 things on Craigslist. All right, I bought one thing and sold another thing. And both of those were standing on a street in Baltimore City with the item or the cash in my hand. Somebody walks up to me and says, "Are you Joe?" And I said, "Yep." And they hand me it was a bike pump, and I handed her $10. And then another one, it was a guy pulls up in a car. He goes, "Are you Joe?" And I said, "Yep." He hands me $50, and I handed him a bike rack. And that was it.
It's pretty low stakes, though. I mean, we're not talking $20K.
We're not talking $20,000.
No.
Yeah, exactly.
No.
Right.
Yeah. So your immediate red flag is that it's Craigslist. Don't trust anything on Craigslist.
Yeah. That's and maybe it's just me old manning this, but I just don't trust the platform.
That's fair. To me, Craigslist is a yellow flag. I've had a lot of good experiences with it, but I think that may be market specific. But I think it would be a proceed with caution. But okay. What about you, Dave?
I've used Craigslist successfully, so I don't know that would have been an immediate red flag. I think the lack of response from Zillow, which I would consider to be the more legitimate platform, would give me pause. But then at the same time, I showed up at the place, met a real live human being, and presumably toured the place, right? I mean, so this person has access to the place, and who I don't know where they just. I'm speculating, but were they just like piggybacking on another tour that was going on?
I think the Jim he met at the apartment was the legitimate Jim Basuino. But the scammer was saying his name was also Jim. So he was sort of doing magpie thing. Is that the right bird?
Yeah.
That sort of pushes the other bird out of the nest by pretending to be. I'm probably getting my birds wrong.
Right.
It's starlings.
Sorry, all the birders are really mad at me right now. I'm bad at this.
Right.
But the bird that pushes the legitimate ones out of the nest, pretending that it's the baby bird or whatever.
Right.
So the scammer was using the same name, I'm sure to obfuscate who's who. But the actual Jim at the showing was the real landlord. Oh. So when he introduced himself as, "Hi, I'm Jim," Alvin was, believing that that's the Jim he'd been emailing.
Right.
A bit of color to this that I didn't mention is apparently at that listing, there were so many people. I mean, there were a lot of people there. Alvin said he didn't really have time to talk to the landlord at length. So he had felt like, there really wasn't much, ability to go into depth with this guy. Maybe if he had been able to, he would have been able to put 2 and 2 together that he hadn't talked to this guy by email. But again, really hot real estate market, very competitive situation. I mean, you're lucky if you can get in the door. Sometimes there's lines out the door for some of these listings. I mean, it can be really crazy.
So if you're the scammer, you could call the person who's renting the apartment, make an appointment to see it, find out when it's being shown by that person, by the legit owner, and then use that information in your fake listing.
Yeah, you definitely could. And then in the conversations with people, just send them to the actual legitimate thing. Yep.
Since you know the name of the person you're scamming, you could tell them, "I'm Alvin Trent. I'll be there at this time, and we'll see you then."
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
So the 2 people who meet up, it's like a man in the middle attack.
That is exactly what it's like. Yes, and they don't. Yeah. And in this case, Alvin didn't know all the rest of his conversations were not with the real Jim.
Right.
But if he had shown up, the real Jim would have been like, "Oh yeah, Alvin, we talked," or whatever. I've been expecting you. So nothing would have come up as I don't know who you are.
So what other red flags did you note, Maria?
I mean, honestly, the only actual solid red flag in this entire story for me was the instructions to wire money. Wiring money was the only time where that would have been I don't want to be wiring anybody money, especially for a rental. Like, there are other ways to pay people for rental fees, and wiring is not the way I would do it. That is way too risky. But
Yeah.
that I don't think would pop out to most people because especially
pop
with
out to me.
with real estate transactions, you're often told that that's the way to do it.
Right.
So I mean, I'm fully on Alvin's side. I mean, I'm not coming down on him at all. This was a really awful scam that checked all. It really covered its tracks very well. And I honestly, I was reading the KQED story about how to prevent falling victim to a scam like this. And I feel like a lot of it is just hope you get lucky.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Good luck.
Good luck out there.
I'm trying to think, could you put money in escrow? You know, like I've put the $18,000 in escrow, and when I get the keys from you, then I will, and I, start moving in, then I'll release it. Something like that.
I mean, you can use a
good-
credit card for a lot of transactions. Like even for rent, a lot of landlords will take rent by credit card. That's not
Who
unusual.
has an $18,000 credit limit on a credit card?
If you're in San Francisco and you work in the tech industry, you absolutely have no credit limit. Like all those guys are on gold or platinum cards, guaranteed. So that's not a thing they need to worry about. But you can use credit cards for sure, or you can write a freaking check. Just put a stop on the check. But wiring is just, or Zelle or whatever, that is usually you have no recourse if this goes wrong. So going in escrow is a great idea. And if somebody says, no, I don't want to do that, then that could be a good red flag right there. But there was a very interesting quote from the legitimate landlord in the SF Cron that I wanted just to highlight. He said, he would never ask tenants to wire that much money. So not that much money, but maybe he would ask them to do some. And certainly not before he had given them keys to a unit. And he said, I feel sorry for the guy. I'm not going to blame him, but wow. That was the direct quote. The guy's out $20K. That is a lot of money. That is a lot of money. Woo.
Wow.
So, to me, the red flag is being asked to wire. But again, it sounds like the legit landlord might have asked him to do the same thing. So asked to put it in escrow. But the other one apparently is the yellow flag it's on Craigslist. It's a proceed with caution. Doesn't mean it's a scam, but you have to be very careful.
Yeah.
So it's a tough one.
You can see the other a component of this though. You could see like as the renter, you don't want to be the squeaky wheel.
No.
You don't in a hot market. You don't want to be the pain in the butt. So whatever the landlord asks you to do, you're probably just going to do it.
Yeah. Yep, absolutely. Especially in a super competitive market where this rental apparently had like everything that Alvin was looking for. It had this gorgeous bathroom. I mean, I'm jealous. They was describing it. This place sounded amazing. And in the super hot neighborhood that he was trying to get in, this rent apparently is very reasonable. So that's, you don't want to lose it. You don't want to let that opportunity slip through your fingers. So I get it. That is the ultimate time pressure. It's just built into the transaction.
Yeah.
So, do you want to be the one slowing that down? Because he'll go, I've got 20 other people who are happy to rent this without any trouble at all. Why are you giving me trouble? You can just hear it.
Yeah.
Oh, tough one.
All right. It is a tough one. All right. Well, we will have a link to that story in the show notes. I tell you what, let's take another quick break here. We'll be right back after this message. And now a word from our sponsor, ThreatLocker. The workplace is evolving. AI coding agents are already writing code, managing files, and reaching outside systems on their own, often without a human approving every step. OWASP calls the risk that comes with that excessive agency, an AI agent with more capability than its task actually requires. ThreatLocker helps organizations enforce the fix instead, giving every agent only the access it needs and nothing more. That means controlling which programs an AI agent is even allowed to run, restricting what it can touch once it's running, files, other applications, sensitive data, and locking down which systems and websites it's permitted to reach on the network. ThreatLocker has even published ready-to-deploy starting policies for popular agentic AI tools, so your team isn't building these controls from scratch. Adopting AI doesn't mean giving up control of your environment. Learn how to apply zero trust to agentic AI at threatlocker.com/HH. And we thank ThreatLocker for sponsoring our show. And we are back. Joe, you're up. What do you got for us this week?
Like I said earlier, I have two stories. The first one comes from News 4 in Jacksonville, Florida. And I'll read the headline. It is Jacksonville woman sues ViStar, alleges credit union failed to properly investigate $42,000 impersonation scam. So this woman's name is Mary Meyer, and she is filing this lawsuit on August 14th based on stuff that happened in November of last year. She says unknown persons gained access to her online banking and changed her password, and then later contacted her, posing as ViStar representatives, and told her to surrender her debit card to a courier. Right?
Okay.
So far, I don't know that ViStar has done anything wrong here. But then between November 13th and November 20th, this complaint says, these people drained about $42,000 from Meyer's checking, money market, and savings accounts through a series of internal transfers. So when you have a money market, that's something you buy, and then you have to sell it, and usually wait a day to get your cash out. So they did that. And then they made ATM withdrawals and retail purchases all across Jacksonville and South Florida. The suit lists hundreds of large purchases and ATM withdrawals. And Meyer says that the pattern of transaction was inconsistent with her normal usage. And that's where she starts to have a complaint or I think a leg to stand on here. The complaint says that ViStar's internal records showed unauthorized devices accessed her account at about 1 p.m. on November 13th before the impersonation call, and that her password was changed without her knowledge, although I don't know how ViStar would know that. Here's another thing that is interesting, is that Meyer's attorneys are saying that ViStar has disabled security controls for marketing reasons and failed to apply fraud alerts. Right? So Meyer reported the activity to ViStar on November 20th, and ViStar denied her claim, saying this is your losses because you gave your debit card to somebody and shared your account information.
Yeah.
The suit also says ViStar never provided a written explanation, which they're required to do under federal rules, and never supplied the documents. And they gave a provisional credit for less than the disputed amount and later blocked access to the credit card. They've also said that Meyer sent a second notice and a formal document request by certified mail in June of this year, but they didn't do anything and they failed to investigate. So that's what the suit is saying. The suit is this is what is interesting about this, is that even though Meyer fell victim to a scam here, this bank this credit union did virtually nothing to help her. And I think that's why she has a good leg to stand on here. I'm not a lawyer. Maybe we should have Ben on. But Ben Yellen from the Caveat podcast. Because she's alleging they violated these Electronic Fund Transfer Act by not doing some of the things they're supposed to do. ViStar has a comment in this. I'm not going to read it because it just is the regular corporate gobbledygook that these guys put out. Every single time something like this happens, well, we don't respond to litigation, and
right.
So much use from that one. Yeah,
right. Yeah. So. I don't know. One of the things she's looking for is treble damages. I had to look that up.
Triple.
That's triple the damages.
Yeah.
Right. So she's looking for attorney's fees, 3 times the damages, because under the Electronic Funds Transfer Act, she is entitled to ask for that. So I think every bank and credit union manager that listens to this show should pay attention to that one fact. You probably already know that. I'm not telling you anything new. I didn't know this until today. But if you're a credit union or a bank and you don't do something after you don't follow the regulations, you're opening yourself up to this kind of a lawsuit.
Yeah, I would suspect that this would probably end with some kind of a settlement.
I would imagine.
But because I've heard of that happening many times, but who knows?
Right.
This reminds me, the way that this went down reminds me, my wife and I were recently traveling in upstate New York. We were up there for a wedding. And this reminds me of the added utility of password managers. Because we were in New York for this wedding. We're staying at a hotel somewhere. And there was something I needed to log into. I honestly don't recall what it was. But it was something, one of my important accounts, let's call it. Right. And so I go to log in, and my password manager pops up to automatically fill in my information. And it does so, but it stops and it says, hold on, you're not where you usually are geographically.
Yeah. Yep.
So we're going to throw some extra roadblocks in the way here, some speed bumps.
Yeah.
So you're gonna have to log in to your password manager. You're gonna have to, it's just it's a few extra steps to slow me down and verify that I am who I say I am before it would allow me to log in. And I thought to myself two things. I thought, oh, this is a pain in the butt.
Right.
But the other thing I thought was, this is great.
Right.
It's doing what it should be doing. Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Both can be true. Yep.
I'm more secure, but I hate it.
Yeah. No. Yes, I resented the slowdown, but in the end, I took a deep breath and said, you know what? This is great. And I think it's one of those things that a good password manager can do that we don't think about, that extra layer of protection that it can provide, looking at things like geography, like time of day. Dave never logs into his bank account at 4 a.m. What's going on here? That sort of thing.
From Timbuktu. Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's what this reminded me of, was having been in that situation, and perhaps had this woman had those tools backing her up, maybe would it have gone a different way for her. Obviously, I'm not shaming her or blaming her in any kind of way.
Right.
I'm just wondering,
would that have helped?
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. I don't think so.
Yeah.
It sounds like these people targeted her and they knew what they were doing.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. What else you got, Joe?
So I got, this one's going to be quick. This is from Payments Dive.
Okay.
And Lynn Merrick over there. And it's we talk about this from time to time, and I wanted to bring this up again. And it talks about, when you think about who's going to be scammed more often, do you think older people or younger people?
Yeah.
And of course, the answer counterintuitively is actually younger people. The frequency is going to be higher among younger people. The damages are going to be higher among older people.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
And this story cites a Fed study that then I couldn't find the link to. And then that Fed study talks about another organization's survey that went out and asked a bunch of Gen Z consumers if they believe they can recognize a scam. But then these people demonstrated poor skills in verifying whether an online request was legitimate. Young people are exposed to these new experiences, and thus this kind of threat model, this attack surface, when they're doing things like opening new financial accounts, finding a new job, or renting their first apartment. Right. And we had Maria's story about renting an apartment, and I don't know. I mean, that's such a masterfully crafted scam. I hope I don't sound like I admire these people. I'm just like, I don't. They're wretched human beings, and they need to be brought to justice. But it was so well done. I don't know that I wouldn't have fallen for that one.
Yeah. Yeah. Same.
And but opening a financial account, I'm not doing that unless I can physically walk into a branch. Right. I am. Every time I see an ad for, hey, we're a 100% online bank, I'm like, no, thank you. That is the absolute last thing I want. Yeah. Or we're a bank with no branches in your neighborhood. No, I don't want that either.
Right.
So finding a new job, I'm not talking to anybody unless, actually, I will talk to somebody, but I'm not accepting a job offer unless I've been to your place and I'm going to show up there every day. I'm not a remote work kind of guy. I just don't find that that's very productive. So these things are not going to work on me, and it's probably because I'm older. right?
Mm.
Younger people are going to do this. Typical scams that are directed at youth, this is one that would absolutely just fly right by me as well. Exclusive online deals like flash sales or limited edition drops. Yeah. Every time I see like Nike's dropping a limited edition set of shoes, and people are then buying them up and then scalping them for like 10 times the price, I'm like, what kind of a knucklehead pays $3,000 for a pair of shoes that are essentially a $300 pair of shoes? Maybe they're great. I mean, I paid $200 for my shoes that I'm wearing right now. And that is the most I've ever spent on shoes, but...
Old Moneybags Kerrigan.
Right.
All right, Joe.
I have to spend that money.
If you're going to mug one of the three of us, go for Joe, just FYI.
I have to spend that money because if I don't, my feet hurt.
Right. This isn't a fashion statement. No, it's a recognition of your age
and, all right.
and poor bodily condition.
And I am not happy that I can't wear a cheap pair of sneakers anymore.
Right.
And
yeah,
I even bought some cheap shoes at a Skechers outlet and cannot wear them.
Yeah, I feel that way about Vans because I like Vans.
Vans are cool looking too, right?
I like I just like Vans. Yeah, but there's nothing inside of Vans. They're just flat. Great. So great for skateboarding. They do exactly what they're supposed to do, but nope, can't do it anymore.
Did you wear Vans in high school?
I did. Yeah.
No, I was the big high top kind of guy.
Okay.
Like like my role models in Anthrax. Other scams they're likely to fall for is job offers with high pay, minimal qualifications, and immediate hiring.
Yep.
And convenient and timely apartment rentals that are quick things. And some red flags that elude these Zoomers, and I love calling them Zoomers, being pressured to act immediately. And that is something like an older person is just, when you're talking about a new job or opening a new financial account or renting an apartment, an older person I think is going to be like, no, I'm not doing that right now. I've got other things I have to get done. Mm-hmm. Where a younger person might be like, yeah, I'll get that done for you right now. Mm-hmm. Asked to share personal information or lured into using an untraceable payment method, such as gift cards.
Yeah.
Or probably cryptocurrency as well.
I think what's interesting about the personal information thing, and I remember that I'm a millennial, so I'm old. I'm not a Zoomer, right? But I remember in my 20s, I was sitting in some meetings, like marketers meetings, where I was one of the youngest people in the room, and there was this whole attitude of, well, millennials won't care about their personal information. They'll just give that up. They just don't care about that kind of thing. They'll tell anyone anything you want to know. It's not a big deal. And I remember thinking at the time, like, you say that right now because we're in our 20s and we don't really have much to lose.
Right.
But it's different as you get older. And I wonder with the Zoomers if that's also both a combination of a function of just their age and also maybe a bit of fatalism of there's a breach every other second. Who cares if my information's out there because it's already out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hear that one a lot.
Yeah.
So I have to wonder.
Interesting. All right. Well, we will have a link to that story in the show notes. Joe, Maria, it is time for our catch of the day.
Dave, our catch of the day comes from the Scambait subreddit, and this one is titled "Scammer Got Scammed."
Okay. Maria, you want to do this one with me?
Sure. Am I green?
You be the green.
Okay.
Yep, because that seems to be the matronly.
The matron.
Are you going to do a matron voice?
I'm not. Do I need to? Do I not come with one pre-installed?
All right. I'm not walking into that
Don't
one.
touch that one with the 20-foot pole. Yeah.
Yes. I've already touched that wire and regret it.
Let me just put it this way. I'm not in my 20s anymore, I know it. It's all right.
All right.
Hey, love. Got your message. Thanks for letting me know. Is this Chris or Luke? And what happened to your phone?
Hey, Mom. It's me, Chris. I'm using my broken old phone. It does not let me accept calls. I accidentally smashed my other phone with my old number.
You're always so clumsy with your stuff. You're going to just have to buy a new one then. Where are you? What time are you coming home?
I went to Telstra, need to pay $900 off my contract and buy a new phone with insurance on my new phone, which totals up to $3,400.
$3,400? Why so much? What phone did you buy?
I don't need to pay $3,400. I just need to pay $900 for the cancellation fee because I'm canceling my contract, or else I have to pay $3,400, which I don't want to.
Why are they charging you? Didn't you have insurance on the last phone? I think Dad and I got it for you when we got you the phone.
They're charging me because I ended the contract early. That's why. They said I need to pay $900 today. I was going to ask you if you could pay it off for me. I'll pay you back when I get access to my bank.
Okay, makes sense. Where's your wallet and your cards?
I forgot them. I didn't think I would need them today. That's why I messaged.
Shouldn't leave home without them, should you? Not smart, Chris. You still haven't paid me back for the $2,000 you owe me still. When am I getting that?
I know. I'll pay you back all at once. I'm sorry. Do you have your card with you by any chance?
I hope so. Dad won't be too happy about this.
I know.
I have my cards, yes. Where are you? I can come to you and sort this out.
I'm at Telstra with the manager. He's with me now.
Which store?
He said he can process it manually through their system, but because I'm the contract owner, I have to do it because I'm liable. Could I borrow your card for now since I don't have mine with me?
Yes, I know that, but which store are you at?
The one in town.
Thanks, Captain Obvious, but there are about a dozen Telstra stores. Which one? Chris, I'm disappointed in you. You broke another phone and want more money? I'll give it to you, but it's the last time. When do you get paid?
The one closest to home, and I know, man, I'm sorry, and I get paid on Friday, so I can pay some of it back on Friday if that's okay.
So Telstra store at the Remix Center?
Yeah. Can you quickly send me a picture of your card? I'm going to quickly pay for this. I don't have battery left on this phone. I'm coming to see you right after.
Okay, wait a second. I'll get my purse.
Okay. You still there?
Yes, one sec. I had a call.
Okay, no problem.
Joe, you want to describe the image of the credit card?
Yes. How am I going to say this?
Well, it's a MasterCard, first of all.
Yes, it's a MasterCard. It has a number on it, and the numbers for the bank are correct, but the rest of the number is all eights. And it is Mr. Go FK Yourself Scammer.
That's the name.
That's the name.
Go, G-O-E.
Yes, Mr. Goey.
Mr. Goey, FK Yourself Scammer.
How about them apples, scammer? Maybe next time you... Maybe next time check who you send these messages to, since I'm a guy, loser.
Pretty good.
I wonder, it looks like he had AI generate this.
I mean, who doesn't have Photoshop just at the ready to whip this kind of thing?
I mean, I wouldn't waste my time in Photoshop to do this. That's actually tedious. You can just say to AI, make me a dummy card, and here's the name I want to appear on it.
Yeah, this is much funnier though.
Yes,
it sure is.
I mean, and then it'll make you a picture, and you copy and paste.
Yeah. All right. So before we move on, any obvious red flags here from the person trying to elicit the scam?
One of the things that stuck out to me that would actually make this more effective is he starts out talking about a $300 or $3,000 bill that he's going to have to pay, and then drops the price down to $900.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So you're like, $3,000? And actually, I thought this guy would have done what I do whenever my kids say, I need money, right? They say, hey, Dad, I need $100. I'm like, $90? What do you need $80 for?
Right.
So he didn't do that, but the other guy did this to him. He said, I don't need $3,800 now. I just need the $900. So yeah. I think that is more likely to get someone who is already into this and buying it, that it's going to work, that it makes it more likely to work.
Yeah.
It's almost like a sense of relief.
Yeah. You know what's funny? What stood out to me immediately with this is the hey, love, got your message. And then the two X's in the message. It's hard to describe, say that part out loud. But to me, that's very UK coded. Like, it's very English. And
right.
yet, and then the word mum, M-U-M, instead of mom.
Right.
And yet the money was, I need $3,400 with no denomination mentioned, and then it was $3,400 was the switch. Whereas I would have assumed this was in England or the UK.
Yeah. It could be Australia.
Could be.
They use
Oh,
the
maybe.
same.
Could be Australia.
dollar
That's
sign.
true. But mum, to me, I was like, that's not, if we're assuming American or North American, I wouldn't have assumed. But yeah, it could have been Australian. That's true.
The thing that stood out to me was the attempt to keep the mom from coming to the store. The mom said, "I'll meet you there," and the person just was like, "No, I need this now. Just send me the image." No. You know, because obviously the person isn't actually at the store.
Yeah, I'll be right there in 2 minutes. What's the issue?
Right. Exactly.
I'll be there with a sandwich and a blanket. Everything's
Which is what my
fine.
mom would do.
Yeah, that's right.
Right.
Don't do anything. Don't sign anything.
Move.
Yeah, don't move, you dummy.
I'll be right there. Yeah. All right. Well, that is our catch of the day. We will have a link to that in our show notes. And of course, we would love to hear from you. If there's something you'd like us to consider for the show, you can email us. It's hackinghumans@n2k.com. Thank you to ThreatLocker for sponsoring Hacking Humans. Sign up for a free demo today and see how you can implement a default deny posture at your organization by visiting threatlocker.com/HH. And that is our show, brought to you by N2K Cyberwire. We'd love to know what you think of this podcast. Your feedback ensures we deliver the insights that keep you a step ahead in the rapidly changing world of cybersecurity. If you like our show, please share a rating and review in your favorite podcast app. Please also fill out the survey in the show notes or send an email to hackinghumans@n2k.com. This episode is produced by Liz Stokes. Our executive producer is Jennifer Iben. We're mixed by Elliot Peltzman and Trey Hester. Peter Kilpie is our publisher. I'm Dave Bittner.
I'm Joe Kerrigan.
And I'm Maria Varmazes.
Thanks for listening.